Welcome back to Fright Note, where we share chilling letters exactly as they're sent to us, so you can decide for yourself if they're true or something darker. Tonight's letter comes from someone who stumbled onto a hidden nightmare right in the middle of Los Angeles. It's the kind of story that makes you think twice before booking a place to stay. Because sometimes the scariest things aren't lurking in the woods. They're waiting behind the walls of your own rental. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next terrifying letter. Now, let's get into it. To Fright Note, I wasn't even going to write this down. I've been trying to forget it ever happened. But the thing is, I still dream about that door, about what might still be behind it. I just landed in LA for a work conference last February. I'm from Oregon, so big cities always feel a little overwhelming, but I was excited. I'd found a cute AirBnB on the 15th floor of a modern building downtown. All white walls, shiny appliances, huge windows looking out over the skyline. It felt safe. There was a doorman, key cards for the elevators, the works. I checked in around 8:30 p.m. The lobby smelled like lemon cleaner and the faint perfume of someone who'd walked past minutes earlier. The host, a guy named Alex, wasn't there to meet me, just texted me the lockbox code. The first thing that felt off was how rushed his messages were. Sorry, can't meet you. Emerg. LMK if you need anything. When I stepped into the unit, I remember thinking, this place looks exactly like the photos, almost too exactly, like it had been staged. Everything was minimal. Gray couch with a single red pillow chrome floor lamp, fake succulent on the coffee table. White kitchen counters so spotless they almost glowed, but there were little clues someone had left in a hurry. The bed was rumpled. Not a lot, but enough that it didn't look freshly made. In the bathroom, a toothbrush sat in the cup by the sink. A damp towel was draped over the shower rod. I tried to shrug it off. People get busy. Maybe the cleaner skipped a few things. I ordered some takeout and settled on the couch, trying to enjoy the city lights. Around 11 p.m., I started hearing noises. First, a dull thud, like someone dropping a suitcase overhead. But the listing said this was the top floor. No one should have been living above me. Then came a sound like footsteps pacing, directly above my bedroom ceiling. Slow, deliberate. I muted the TV and stood in the center of the living room, straining to hear. Thump. Pause. Thump. I texted Alex. Hey, is there a penthouse above me? Or roof access? No answer. I decided to go to bed anyway. I pulled the curtains shut, climbed under the covers, and stared at the shadows crawling across the ceiling from the glow of the city below. Sometime past midnight, I rolled over and felt something hard under my pillow. I reached in and pulled out a key, old-fashioned brass, not like the electronic key cards for the building. Tied to it was a thin paper tag with one word written in smudged ink: storage. I sat there holding it, my heart beating so fast I felt sick, because suddenly I remembered something from when I first checked in. There was a wardrobe in the hallway that seemed deeper than it should have been, like it stuck out into the apartment more than the wall on the other side. And as I sat there, listening to those slow footsteps above my ceiling, I realized I'd never opened that wardrobe. I don't know how long I sat there staring at that brass key. It felt warm in my hand, as if someone else had just been holding it. Outside the window, the city glowed like a million tiny stars, but the room felt suddenly too small, like the walls were inching closer. Around one of my, I couldn't stand it anymore. I got up, flipped on every light in the apartment, and walked slowly toward the wardrobe in the hallway. It looked normal enough. Tall, matte white doors with sleek silver handles. But the closer I got, the more I noticed something was off. The left door sat slightly crooked on its hinges. A faint line of airflow ruffled the bottom edge, like there was a vent hidden behind it. And there was this faint chemical smell, like cleaning fluid mixed with something older, musty, metallic. My fingers shook as I slid the brass key into the tiny lock near the handles. It turned smoothly, like it had been used many times. Inside, it looked empty at first. Just a dark, hollow space lined in particle board. Then my eyes adjusted, and I realized the back wall of the wardrobe wasn't a wall at all. It was a door. A full-sized wooden door, painted white, flush with the wardrobe interior. A small metal plate beside the handle read, "Storage, private." I pressed my ear to it. Silence. But I swear, I felt a faint vibration, like the low hum of machinery on the other side. I tried telling myself, this is LA people convert closets into weird storage all the time. But curiosity ate at me. I slowly turned the knob and pushed the door inward. The smell hit me first. Damp cement, old wood, a sharp tang of bleach. The room beyond was tiny, maybe 6 feet wide, with concrete walls and no windows. A single light bulb hung from the ceiling, flickering, and along the back wall were metal shelves filled with objects that didn't belong together. Stacks of Polaroid photos rubber banded together, dozens of labeled VHS tapes, an old red suitcase with the initials LJ, scratched into the leather, rolls of duct tape, disposable gloves, black trash bags, a glass jar full of what looked like teeth. My skin went cold. I backed away, but then I saw something that made my stomach drop. On the floor sat a battered cardboard box labeled guests. Inside were printed booking confirmations from AirBnB, all from different people, different names, different dates. Each paper had a photo attached, and pinned to the side of the box was a new photo. One I recognized instantly. It was me, taken from the angle of the bed, like someone had photographed me while I slept. I stumbled backward, nearly knocking the door off its hinges. My breath echoed off the concrete walls. I slammed the wardrobe shut, locked it with the brass key, and staggered into the kitchen, grabbing my phone with shaking hands. I tried calling 911, but the screen flashed no service. Then my phone buzzed in my palm. It was a text from Alex. Don't go back in there. And that's when I realized The footsteps I'd been hearing above me weren't coming from the ceiling. They were coming from the hidden room. My mind was spinning so fast, I couldn't even breathe. I stared at my phone, my thumb hovering over the text from Alex. Don't go back in there. I wanted to leave right then. But some part of me needed to understand, because if I didn't, I'd always wonder if I'd imagined the whole thing. I tiptoed back to the wardrobe, my ears strained for any sound from behind the hidden door. Nothing. But I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was standing on the other side, pressing their ear to the wood, just like I was. I unlocked the door again, heart pounding so hard my vision blurred. Inside, the single light bulb flickered violently, casting shadows that jittered across the concrete. This time, I noticed a security camera bolted high in one corner, its red recording light blinking. It was aimed straight at the cardboard box marked "Guests." Then I heard it, a metallic scraping, like someone dragging something heavy across concrete. It came from deeper inside the hidden space, beyond the shelves and shadows. Slowly, a figure stepped into the light. It was Alex, except he didn't look like the smiling guy from his AirBnB profile photo. His eyes were sunken, rimmed in dark circles. His hair was damp, plastered to his forehead. His hands were streaked with something dark, oil or maybe blood. He stared at me like he'd been expecting me all along. "You're not supposed to be in here," he said, his voice soft, almost hurt. I backed up against the shelves, knocking over a jar that rolled across the floor. Scattering what I now saw were tiny bones. Alex sighed. "It's not personal, this place. It's how I pay the bills. People come to LA. Nobody notices if they leave. That's the problem with this city. Too many faces. Too many tourists." He took a step closer. "You should have just stayed in the apartment." I whispered, "Why me?" Alex shrugged. "You booked the place. That's how it works." He reached for his pocket. I saw a glint of metal, a knife. Adrenaline exploded through me. I shoved past him, barreling out of the hidden room, slamming the door behind me. I twisted the key in a lock, so hard the brass bent under my fingers. I could hear him banging on the other side, muffled curses echoing in the tiny cement space. I grabbed my suitcase, phone, wallet. Didn't even check if I'd packed everything. I ran out into the hallway, jabbing at the elevator button over and over until it finally opened. When the door slid shut, I saw Alex stepping into the hallway. He stopped, just stood there, breathing hard, staring at me with those dead eyes. And then he smiled, the same smile as in his profile picture. I spent the night in a hotel 2 blocks away, barely sleeping, afraid I'd see him standing in the lobby. When I went back the next day with the police, the apartment was completely empty. No wardrobe, no hidden room, no photos. Just a blank white wall where the closet had been. They told me the unit hadn't been rented in months. AirBnB claimed Alex's profile was suspended 3 weeks earlier for suspicious activity. But the worst part? A few days later, I got an Airbnb review notification in my email. It said, Guest was quiet, clean, would host again. I don't know who really owns that apartment, or how many people Alex has done this to. But if you ever stay in an Airbnb in Los Angeles, check the walls, because sometimes the walls are listening. Letter sent anonymously to Fright Note, and that's the letter we received about the Airbnb in Los Angeles, a place that seemed clean, modern, safe, until the walls started whispering secrets meant to stay hidden. Do you think there really was a hidden room in that apartment? Or was it all just a nightmare brought on by travel and exhaustion? Let us know what you believe in the comments. And if you have a terrifying story of your own about places you've stayed, things you've seen, or strangers who knew too much, send it to us. You might hear it right here on Fright Note next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our next letter. Until then, be careful where you stay, and check behind every door.